This is Askcarterlaw back again with your favorite legal hot topics. Today we will be discussing the Blac Chyna $100 million lawsuit against the Kardashians and Jenners. So let's start with the matriarch. Kris actually stated that, two things were revealed in her testimony. One, that allegedly Kylie was, was sent death threats by Blac Chyna prior to the fight with Rob, and that the fight with Rob was actually violent, including, having his face beat and, a gun being involved and an iPhone cord wrapped around his neck. So those were the things that were revealed. And she actually put that her son was assaulted in writing to E. So this is part of the defamatory communications that Blac Chyna is relying on. Of course, it's not defamation if it's true. Obviously, none of us were there, so it's going to come down to who the jury believes. But Kris definitely mentioned that there was an assault on Rob and that Kylie herself prior had received some threats from Blac Chyna because at the time, or at one point, she was dating Blac Chyna's ex and father of her first child, Tiger. Now, Chyna says in response that she was just joking with the gun, that she didn't seriously point it at him, and there was no choking of him with the iPhone cord charger, that at the most she damaged the TV in the home and the door because she was upset that Rob had taken her phone from her and went and hid and wouldn't give it back to her. But that was the extent of the altercation, and that saying anything further, is false and defamatory. Kylie concurs with her mom that, Rob was assaulted. She also confirms that Chyna did damage the TV in the door because this is actually a house that she had temporarily allowed Rob and Chyna to live in. So this was actually Kylie's house that was damaged. She did not say she exactly received death threats, but she did say she, at one point when she was dating Tiger, received some devil emojis and that, something along the lines of a text saying that counting down the days until, she could beat her ass or something along those lines. So that's not exactly a death threat. So I definitely think Kris Jenner is over-exaggerating the text message Kylie received. So I don't think that will be taken as seriously, but perhaps the fact that everyone is saying the same thing about the property damage and Rob being assaulted, if they are to be believed, then making statements about that in an email to E would be considered defamation. One more thing about Chyna. So Chyna also, during her testimony, her cross-examination by the Kardashian and Jenners attorney, was shown, I guess, some photos that were leaked in a separate revenge porn case that she has against Rob Kardashian. Supposedly, they felt like that was biased, that it would bias the jury because the jury wasn't supposed to see these photos, and it derailed her testimony. And so, to avoid a mistrial, her lawyer right now has a motion pending to see if she can retestify. But I feel like at this point, she's already testified. The photos are already out there. I'm not sure what can be undone at this point. The last testimony so far that's really important in this case so far is an exec, Jeff Olde, O-O-L-D-E, or Olde. Jeff testified that he was one of the executives that voted against renewing the show, but he actually said despite, all the pressure from Khloe and Kylie, pushing for him to vote no, that wasn't actually the reason why he ultimately voted no. He voted no because he felt like the show was no longer upbeat and fun. It appeared to be a more of a toxic relationship instead of a romantic one. And so anyway, with that being said, he actually, confirmed that he received emails from Kylie and Khloe after that fight at the house, but that was not the reason why he ultimately decided to not renew the case. Just a snippet of the email from Khloe. It says, the sisters are clearly concerned and uncomfortable for our brother's safety and credibility of the brand at this point due to how they're both tarnishing it. We don't feel comfortable encouraging such volatile behavior, and if we can put our foot down in any way, we believe it's our job to do so. We're even considering not moving forward with our show if theirs continues. That's how strongly we feel this is damaging to our family. So that's just a snippet of some of the emails that were received from E that, again, Blac Chyna is claiming are defamatory. So we'll see if, again, the biggest defense to defamation is if whatever they were saying in the emails were true, or just of opinion, they weren't facts, then she doesn't really have a defamation case. And then obviously separately, does she then have a contract interference case if, as his exec said, him and many others were voting against renewing it anyway, even if the alleged assault hadn't happened. So this should be interesting to see if she'll be able to retestify, if ultimately she will stay successful with her, or will be successful in either of her claims. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this case closely. To follow stories like this, you can continue to follow us on our social media handles at Askcarterlaw or on our website, www.askcarterlaw.com.